Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be going over each banner in version 3.2 and which character you should pull between Castorice, Anaxa, Acheron, Fugue, Jiaoqiu, and lastly Dr. Ratio. Before we begin today's video, let me know one of your favorite video games. In one of my prior videos, I mentioned Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, so today I'm going to go with Kirby Superstar Ultra. Lastly, if you enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, hit the like button to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. To begin, let's go over Castorice. Castorice is a Quantum Remembrance character who is an HP scaling damage dealer and revolves around the team's HP changes, which can consist of allies losing and gaining health within battle. Starting off with Castorice's skill, she'll attack an enemy and adjacent as well as deplete allies' HP. And when her Memosprite Netherwing is on the field, she'll now unleash a joint attack with her skill, which will hit all enemies as well as still deplete all allies' HP. Something really cool worth noting is that Castorice will not consume skill points with her normal or enhanced skill. This now allows you to use your skill points between your supports and sustain of choice, and this can result in you using your skill often on your supports to now use your ultimate sooner. Now when it comes to summoning her Memosprite, this would be through her technique for the beginning of battle and through her ultimate. Castorice's ultimate is not based on energy, but rather New Bud, and New Bud is gained through allies losing or gaining HP. Once Castorice reaches 100%, she'll be able to use her ultimate, which will create a territory and will summon her Memosprite Netherwing. She'll advance toward Netherwing by 100% and Netherwing will last on the field for 3 turns, and when you use up all of Netherwing's HP, Netherwing will deal multiple instances of damage hitting enemies on the field, and of course, dealing massive damage as a result. After Netherwing completely uses its HP, it'll disappear from the field, which you can do this before those 3 turns run up, by the way, if you do want to use the explosive attack sooner. But once Netherwing is gone, now you will need to summon it again through Castorice's ultimate. It's also worth noting that Netherwing can gain back HP from allies losing HP or gaining HP as well. An additional benefit Castorice has is that when an ally is about to be knocked out, rather than being knocked out, she will temporarily delay them from being knocked out, which they will then need to be healed or shielded to remain on the field without being fully knocked out. This effect can also work if Castorice is not an active member on the team. When it comes to Castorice's team synergies, a general team can consist of Castorice with 2 supports in the sustain, preferably a healer. Castorice pairs nicely with Remembrance Trailblazer, as Remembrance Trailblazer will provide Castorice Mem support, which can now allow Castorice as well as Netherwing to take advantage of true damage, which can highly benefit their damage output. The 100% advance forward is also useful for attacking sooner. Tribbie is another great support for Castorice, as Castorice can fully take advantage of Tribbie's buffs, which is something to keep in mind when team building with Castorice since she is an HP scaling damage dealer. Tribbie's buffs will be able to fully benefit Castorice as a result. You can use Sunday alongside Castorice to provide her additional damage boosts, crit rate, crit damage, action advance, and so on. You can use Pela for her AoE defense drops onto enemies, which will benefit Castorice's damage output. You can use Ruan Mei alongside Castorice for her buffing capabilities, and so on when it comes to our supports. As for sustain options, 2 excellent options would be Gallagher and Luocha due to the frequent healing they can provide. Gallagher when allies attack enemies afflicted with Besotted, and Luocha with his healing field as well, which both are useful for gaining more New Bud for Castorice. You can use other sustains as well, for example Lingsha and some of the other healers, but I would highly recommend Gallagher and Luocha. As for a very budget-friendly team that mainly consists of 4 stars as well as a free 5-star, it would be Castorice Remembrance Trailblazer, who is a free 5-star, Pela, and then Gallagher, which are 4 stars. As for fun dual DPS teams, you can use Castorice with Mighty or Blade alongside a support and healer. Mighty and Blade have frequent changes in their HP throughout battle, which can result in a very fun synergy alongside Castorice. As for Castorice's banner, she'll have the 4 stars, Gallagher, Pela, and Lynx, which in my opinion is an incredible banner, as Castorice can nicely be paired with Gallagher as well as Pela, and then Remembrance Trailblazer, as I mentioned, is also free. Her banner is a nice way to set up a Castorice team if you are lacking characters she can be paired alongside. Gallagher will be an excellent sustain option, and Pela will be great for her debuffing capabilities. As for rerun options, for the first half of version 3.2, we have Acheron, Fugue, and Jiaoqiu. Starting off with Acheron, she's a lightning nihility DPS who takes advantage of nihility allies, debuffing enemies in order to gain slash stream stacks to unleash her ultimate onto enemies. Acheron appreciates team members that can quickly and frequently debuff enemies, which allows her to quickly gain slash stream stacks in order to use her ultimate, which is a huge source of her damage output, and she will need 9 slash stream stacks in order to do so. Acheron at E0 also further improves her damage output by having 2 nihility allies on the team, and at E2, this only now needs to be 1 additional nihility ally for the full effect. She'll also gain a slash stream stack at the start of her turn at E2, which now allows her to gain stacks at a faster rate as well. Regarding Acheron teams, she could be paired up with numerous nihility as well as harmony characters. Some teams can consist of Acheron with 2 nihility characters in the sustain of choice, Acheron with 1 nihility and 1 harmony in a sustain of choice, or either of the previous options with no sustain. As for partners Acheron enjoys, this can consist of Jiaoqiu, as he can inflict frequent Ash and Rose stacks onto enemies, especially with his zone active. This now allows Acheron to gain slash stream stacks at a faster rate, especially if you are fighting enemies that are fast and take frequent turns. Jiaoqiu will also allow Acheron to have higher damage output due to the vulnerabilities he'll inflict onto enemies, which makes enemies receive more damage from the team as well as receive more ultimate damage. You can use Pela alongside Acheron as a budget-friendly option, and Pela being on Acheron's banner is also very convenient. You can use Silverwolf for her debuffs, and you can actually use Fugue as well. I've showcased it before on the channel, but you can use Fugue's skill on an ally that is able to attack frequently, which now allows that ally to take advantage of Phoxian Prayer. And every time an ally with Phoxian Prayer attacks an enemy, Fugue has a 100% base chance to reduce the attacked enemy's defense by 18%. The defense debuff will be useful for being able to allow the team to deal more damage onto an enemy, but also be able to gain more slash stream stacks for Acheron. As for harmony options, you can consider using Robin, Tribbie, there are also showcases with Sunday, and so on. As for sustains, I would recommend going with a sustain that could debuff enemies in some capacity, so that Acheron can gain slash stream stacks, which can consist of Gallagher, Aventurine, Linksha, a preservation character holding Trend of Universal Market, and so on. There's numerous options you can go with for an Acheron team, and this would ultimately come down to what characters you have. As for the other 2 reruns in the first half, we have Fugue and Jiaoqiu, both fire nihility characters. Fugue is an amazing option for break-oriented teams, as she can enable super break for the team similar to Harmony Trailblazer, provide an ally Phoxian Prayer which allows them to reduce enemy toughness meters regardless of what they are weak to, equivalent to 50% of the original toughness reduction value. Phoxian Prayer will also increase that character's break effect, and every time an ally target with Phoxian Prayer attacks, as I mentioned, Fugue will have that base chance to reduce that enemy's defense as well. Fugue will also be able to afflict enemies with Cloud Flame Luster, which will give them an exo toughness meter that can allow you to essentially break enemies twice. And this is very useful for characters that take advantage of enemies being broken multiple times, for example Himiko, Shui, and much more. Fugue will be able to reduce enemy toughness meters regardless of what they are weak to with her ultimate. She can provide break effect buffs for the team, and she'll be able to delay enemies once they are weakness broken. And as mentioned, she also enables super break for the team. Fugue is an incredible option for break-oriented teams, especially if you like to use Remembrance Trailblazer. Fugue can replace Harmony Trailblazer slot on a break team, which now allows you to freely use Remembrance Trailblazer for your other team. For Fugue teams, she can nicely work with Rappa, Boothill, Himiko, Shui. You can use her alongside Firefly. I mentioned the Acheron scenario or just team in general earlier, and so on. Now for Jiaoqiu, he'll be able to inflict frequent Ash and Rose stacks onto enemies and inflict vulnerabilities onto enemies that will increase the damage those enemies receive and increase the ultimate damage enemies receive as well. Jiaoqiu can be used as a flexible option for teams due to the vulnerabilities he can inflict onto enemies, and pairs nicely with numerous CPS options, some being Acheron, Yunli, and much more. Now when it comes to the second half of version 3.2, we have Anaxa and Dr. Ratio. Anaxa is a Wind Erudition character who looks very cool. I love his design, honestly. And Anaxa focuses on inflicting numerous weaknesses onto enemies, and being able to attack enemies very frequently. Whenever Anaxa hits an enemy, he'll inflict a random weakness onto them. And once an enemy has 5 weaknesses on them, he'll inflict qualitative disclosure onto them, which will now make enemies take increased damage from Anaxa. Additionally, when Anaxa hits an enemy inflicted with Qualitative Disclosure, he'll now be able to deal an additional instance of his attack, which essentially can allow him to skill twice in a row and only have to use one skill point, and this will also count for his basic attack as well. As for Anaxa's ultimate, he'll inflict Sublimation onto every enemy on the field, and now they will have every weakness inflicted onto them. And if the targets do not have any control resistance, they are unable to take action in the sublimation state. This allows Anaxa to take advantage of Qualitative Disclosure as well, since enemies will have enough weaknesses inflicted onto them. Anaxa being able to attack as frequently as he can when enemies are afflicted with Qualitative Disclosure allows him to accumulate a nice amount of energy for the Herda, as well as inflict interpretation onto enemies. Anaxa in general will just be a very strong pair for the Herda, but he can also potentially take advantage of the hyper carry playstyle as well by hyper buffing him. I'll definitely be sure to showcase this just to see how he performs once we are nearing his release. Now when it comes to Dr. Ratio, our final character of today's video, he takes advantage of being able to inflict frequent follow-up attacks onto enemies, and his fixed chance of unleashing follow-up attacks onto enemies is based on the amount of debuffs they have inflicted onto them. Dr. Ratio can also increase his own crit rate and crit damage and damage dealt onto enemies, depending on the amount of debuffs that are inflicted onto them. When it comes to team building with Dr. Ratio, you can use him on a follow-up team or you can use him as a hyper carry option. And then when it comes to the 3.2 second half banners, the 4 stars will be Don Hung, Serval, and Moza. I'd say the most noteworthy 4-star here is Moza, and if you want to also acquire Serval Eidolons potentially for your The Herda team. That sounded really weird, for your The Herda team. Okay, for the Herda's team, there we go. Overall though, when it comes to the value of each of these characters, I would say when you are looking at damage dealer options, I do recommend looking at the newer damage dealers, which would be Anaxa and Castorice in this instance. And then Fugue is still worth considering, I'd say, especially if you use her on break teams, since she can be in the slot of Harmony Trailblazer, so you can take advantage of Remembrance Trailblazer for your other team. Jiaoqiu is still a very nice debuffer and flexible option as well when it comes to, of course, Acheron teams. And I would say a lot of these options are really just dependent on what you're looking for on your account. Castorice as a new damage dealer, Anaxa who could be used very nicely on the Herda teams, as well as potentially a hyper carry character, Fugue for break teams, and some fun non-break niche scenarios, and so on. So I'd love to know which character you are personally pulling for, or if you might actually just skip for the feature characters. We'll have Cypher and Hyacinth coming up in version 3.3, so really excited to see what they'll end up doing. I personally like both of their designs quite a lot. And that'll be all for today's video, and do stay tuned for Castorice showcases coming very soon. Consider subscribing to see more content from me, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.